Welcome to Storytime with Nanny. And today we're going to pick back up in this book that we read from the last time. And it's Mary Engelbrecht's Nursery and Fairy Tales collection. We're going to read The Frog Prince. Once you could always find the princess alone, playing with her golden ball by the pond on the castle grounds. One day she missed her catch, and the ball landed in the pond and sank. The princess didn't want to wade in to get the ball. She didn't want to get wet, so she began to cry. A small green frog asked, "What will you give me if I get the ball for you?" "You can have anything you want," she said. "What I want is simply to be your friend. I want to sit with you at supper and eat from your plate. I want to listen as you read aloud from a book, and to sleep on your pillow after you kiss me good night." Well, the princess was sure her father the king would not welcome a warty old frog to dinner, but she promised anyway. As soon as the frog brought her the golden ball, the princess skipped away to the palace, ignoring the frog's ribbity cries, to wait for him. By dinner time, the frog had hopped all the way to the castle, where he called out for the princess. "What would a frog want with you?" the king asked his daughter, and so the princess told him she'd promised the frog she'd be his friend if only he would return the golden ball to her. "A promise made must be kept," said the king. So the frog joined the royal family for dinner. He ate from the young princess's plate and drank from her cup, and after dinner the princess read to him from her storybook. Much to the princess's surprise, the frog was good company, and they passed a pleasant evening together. At bedtime, the princess carried the frog up to the stairs and set him on her pillow, but she had no wish to share her pillow with a frog, even a nice frog. So she said, "You may sleep on my pillow. I will gladly sleep here on the floor." She kissed him on his knobby head and said, "Good night, my dear froggy." In that instant, the frog turned into a handsome prince. The princess could not believe her eyes, but the prince explained that someone had turned him into a frog, and the princess was the first to break the spell with a kiss. Now they could play and talk for hours, and they grew up to be very fond of each other, and best of all, the princess had someone to play catch with, and they never tired of tossing each other the golden ball that had brought them together. Well, she was kind of reluctant. She didn't really want to be nice to the frog, but she ended up being nice to him, and then that worked out well for everybody, didn't it? And this, I believe, is going to be the last story out of this book, but we've got another one we're going to start today, too. Now, this one is The Princess and the Pea. Y'all know those little English peas or little small field peas? Once upon a time, there was a prince who wanted more than anything to fall in love and get married. But though he met one princess after another, there was always something not quite right. "There just aren't any real princesses," he said. "They aren't real at all." "What is a real princess?" asked his father, the king. "Her hair will shine, her nose will be regal, but the princess part will be in her eyes. They'll sparkle," said the prince. "And fine, a princess will be fine," added his mother, who had once been a princess herself, of course, before she became queen. Now, one evening, a wild storm broke over the kingdom. Suddenly there came a knock at the palace door. Outside stood a girl, soaking wet from head to toe. "Who are you?" asked the king. "I am Princess Adriana, and I got separated from my companions in the storm," she said. The prince came running. It was hard to see if she was a real princess. Her nose looked regal, but water dripped from the tip of it, and her eyes, the prince could hardly see them behind the mop of wet hair. Now the queen knew that a true princess would be very, very delicate, and she thought of a way to test the girl's claim. She gathered all the mattresses and quilts from all the beds in the palace and stacked them up. Then she secretly tucked a tiny pea under the bottom mattress and bid the girl good night. When the girl came downstairs in the morning, she was a lovely sight to see. Her hair flowed long and wavy, washed clean from the rain. Her nose was just as regal as could be, and when she looked up, "Your eyes, they're so sparkly," said the prince. "But you are yawning," said the queen. "Did you not sleep well, my dear?" "You were wonderful to take me in, and I don't like to complain," said the girl, "but I did not sleep a wink. There was a lump in the bed, and I'm afraid it kept me awake all night." "Aha!" cried the queen. "You are a real princess. Only a real princess could be fine enough to fill a pea through 20 mattresses." The prince quickly fell in love with the prince. Quickly fell in love with the princess. In time they got married, and the prince started making the bed every day, careful to smooth out any lumps or wrinkles, so that his dear princess would enjoy a good night's sleep. And what I think about is, even though he was a prince, he'd make the bed and make it upright every day, so his princess could get a good night's sleep. That was very thoughtful. Now this book is from Paths of Gold. It's a Becca book, and there's illustrators Mike Davis and Frank Hicks. And you'll find in here that it's really a lot of old stories, mostly, it seems like what I've come across and read, but they did the same thing, adapted them, told it in their version, and instead of having an author, someone that wrote it or that put adapted on it, it's just by the Becca Book Company themselves. And we're going to start in this one, The Pied Piper of Hamelin. Hamelin is a little town in a country across the sea. Long ago, a strange thing happened in Hamelin. Great many rats came into the town. They were big, fierce rats. They killed the cats and dogs and bit the children. They ate the food on the tables. They ran up and down the streets in the daytime. The wise men tried to think of a way to drive the rats out of the town. Cats and dogs could not do it, and the rats would not eat poison. The mayor said, "I wish I had a trap big and strong enough to catch the rats. I would give all my gold for it." Just then a knock was heard at the door. "Come in," said the mayor. The door opened, and in came a very strange man. He was tall and thin, with bright blue eyes and light hair. His long coat was half yellow and half red. No one had ever seen him before. The strange man went up to the mayor and said, "I can drive the rats out of the town." "Who are you?" cried the wise men, "and how can you do this thing?" "I am called the Pied Piper. I cannot tell you what I shall do. If you will promise to give me 1,000 pieces of gold, I will soon show you." 1,000, cried the mayor. "I will give you 5,000. Then the Pied Piper went into the street. He took a pipe from his long coat and began to play a merry tune. Soon the rats came running from the houses. Great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, grave old plodders, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers. Families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives. The piper walked slowly down the street, playing a merry tune, and the rats followed, dancing. They thought the music was about good things to eat. They forgot about everything else as they ran after the piper. When they came to the river, every rat danced into the water and was drowned. How happy the people were! They rang the bells and shouted for joy. Then the Pied Piper said to the mayor, "Now, if you please, give me the 1,000 pieces of gold." "1,000 pieces of gold?" cried the mayor. "That is too much money. I will give you 50. If you do not give me the money, you will be sorry," said the strange man. "You can do us no harm," said the mayor. "The rats are dead. You cannot bring them back." Then the Pied Piper went into the street again. He played a few sweet notes on his pipe. At once the children came out of the houses. All the little boys and girls, with rosy cheeks and flaxen curls, and sparkling eyes and teeth like pearls, tripping and skipping, ran merrily after the wonderful music with shouting and laughter. The piper walked down the street and through the fields. When he reached the foot of the hill, a door opened and he went in, still playing the beautiful tune. All the children followed him, and the door closed. One little boy, who was lame, could not run as fast as the other children. When the mayor and the wise men came running up, they found him crying, just like Fluffy's doing. "Come on, sweet baby." "Why do you cry?" said the mayor. "I wish to go with the other children," he said. When the man played on his pipe, it told us about a beautiful land. The sun was shining and the birds were singing. The children played in the fields. They were never ill nor lame. I ran as fast as I could, but when I came, the children were gone, and I could not find the door. The mayor sent men north, south, east, and west to find the piper. He said, "Tell him that I will give him all the gold in the town if he will come back and bring the children with him." The fathers and mothers of Hamelin waited and waited, but their little ones did not come back. All this was long ago, but no one has ever seen the piper or the little children since. If you go to Hamelin, the people will show you the hill and the river. You may walk down Pied Piper Street, but you will not hear any music. No one is allowed to sing or play a tune on the street down which the children followed the Pied Piper to the land beyond the hills. And it says, what did the mayor of Hamelin promise the Pied Piper? He promised him all that money, didn't he? Even more than he was asking for. And did he keep his promise? And he didn't. Do you think the piper was right to take the children away? No, that wasn't the right thing to do. Can you tell what things made the people in this story unhappy? All the children went away. And that was very sad. That's what I think about mainly is don't talk to strangers and don't listen to them and don't follow them. Stay away from them. The next story is the boys and the frogs. Some boys playing near a pond saw a number of frogs playing in the water. "Let us see if we can hit them," said one, and they all began to throw stones. At last, after several had been hit, one of the frogs put his head out of the water and said, "Please stop, boys. Throwing stones at us may be great sport for you, but it is death to us. We have done you no harm, but you have already killed 3 of our family." So they weren't meaning any harm, but it was harming someone, wasn't it? And it hurt the frogs. So we need to be sweet to everyone, and that includes animals. Personally, I just stay away from frogs. But that's just me. Now, the next story is called Bruce and the Spider. Robert Bruce was a brave man who lived in Scotland. He made up his mind to set his country free. As he was a very brave man, the Scots made him their king. The other country, their people were angry at this. They set out to try to harm Bruce and take the crown from him. Before the Scots were ready for battle, the other country came upon them. The Scots fought bravely, but they were beaten, and Bruce had to flee for his life. For some time after, Bruce had to hide in out-of-the-way places. Once he hid himself in a cave. As he lay there, he was sad. He thought he could never get back his crown and make Scotland free. As he was trying to think what he should do, he saw a spider at work in the cave. The spider had made a long thread and was trying to swing from one part of the rock to another. It tried again and again. Bruce counted 6 times, just as many times as he had failed in battle with the other country. Then he thought the spider would give up and not try again. He said to himself, "If the spider does try again and reaches the rock, then I will try again to set my country free." Once more, the spider swung itself from the rock, and this time it reached the place it had been trying to fasten itself to. This cheered Bruce up so much that he tried once more. His men gathered around him, and soon he was master of the land. What do y'all think about when y'all hear that? Sometimes when you know you're supposed to do something and it's the right thing to do, you have to try, and you might have to try again. You just can't give up. This next little story is called The Little Plant. Away on the edge of the forest stood a little plant, only a few inches tall, but the ground around it was so cold and hard that the plant could not grow. Instead, it had feebly stood there for several years and had grown weaker. "Grow and be beautiful," said the forest sternly, but the plant did not grow. "Don't you want to grow?" said the magpie, and then he began to tell the little thing how lazy and useless it was. But the words went in one ear and out the other. Still the plant did not grow. "I will teach you to obey," roared the wind, and lashed the poor twig with its cold wings, so it came close to dying instead of springing up. "You will surely grow, poor little thing," said the sun kindly, and he poured warm spring rain from the sky and warmed up the earth around the plant, and then the little twig shot up and became a beautiful tree with a leafy crown and fragrant blossoms. And I think about sometimes when someone's mean to us, we don't think about doing our best or being the best person that we can be and being ourselves. But when someone is kind to us and speaks kindly to us and encourages us, it makes us want to do better, doesn't it? So that's how we should treat others, is be kind and speak kind to one another. The next story is called The Pig Brother. There once was a child who was untidy. He left his books on the floor and his muddy shoes on the table. He put his fingers in the jam and spilled ink on his best shirt. There was really no end to his untidiness. One day, the tidy angel came into his bedroom. "This will never do," said the angel. "This is really shocking. You must go out and stay with your brother while I make things tidy again." "I have no brother," said the child. "Yes, you have," said the angel. "You may not know him, but he will know you. Go out into the garden and watch for him. He will soon come." "I don't know what you mean," said the child, but he went out into the garden and waited. Presently a squirrel came along, whisking his tail. "Are you my brother?" asked the child. The squirrel looked him over carefully. "Well, I should hope not," he said. "My fur is neat and smooth. My nest is handsomely made and in perfect order. And my young ones are properly brought up. Why do you insult me by asking such a question?" He whisked off, and the child waited. Presently a wren came hopping by. "Are you my brother?" asked the child. "No, indeed," said the wren. You will find no one tidier than I in the whole garden. Not a feather is out of place, and my eggs are the wonder of all for smoothness and beauty. Brother indeed. He hopped off, ruffling his feathers, and the child waited. By and by a large tommy cat came along. "Are you my brother?" asked the child. "Go and look at yourself in the glass." And the tommy cat haughtily said "Go look at yourself in the glass," said the tommy cat haughtily, "and you will have your answer. I have been washing myself in the sun all morning, while it is clear that no water has come near you for a long time. There are no such creatures as you in my family, I am thankful to say." He walked on waving his tail, and the child waited. Presently a pig came trotting along. The child did not wish to ask the pig if he were his brother, but the pig did not wait to be asked. "Hello, brother," he grunted. "I am not your brother," said the child. "Oh, yes, you are," said the pig. "I confess I'm not proud of you, but there is no mistaking the members of our family. Come along and have a good roll in the barnyard. There is some lovely black mud there." "I don't like to roll in the mud," said the child. "Tell that to the hens," said the pig brother. "Look at your hands, your shoes, and your shirt. Come along, I say. You may have some of the pig wash for supper if there is more than I want." "I don't want pig wash," said the child, and he began to cry. Just then the tidy angel came out. "I have made everything tidy," she said, "and it must stay that way. Now, will you go with the pig brother, or will you come back with me and be a tidy child?" With you," cried the child, and he clung to the angel's dress. The pig brother grunted. "Small loss," he said. "There will be all the more wash for me," and he trotted off. I think that teaches us we're all supposed to be neat and tidy. I know we have to play and get dirty sometimes, but we have to get clean too, don't we? And have clean clothes and pick up our toys, and because we don't want to be like the pig. Now, I believe we should have time for another story. This one is Peasant Truth. Once in the land of Sicily, there lived a peasant who was so honest in all his dealings that he came to be called Peasant Truth. Now the king of Sicily had some fine sheep and goats, of which he was very proud. When he heard of Peasant Truth, he said, "A man who would never tell a lie is the very man I want for the royal shepherd." So the king sent for Peasant Truth and said, "I give you the care of the royal flocks. Take special care of one goat, one sheep, and one little lamb that I will show you." Peasant Truth, as you may believe, was very proud to take care of the royal flocks. Every Saturday the king had him come to the palace to report upon the condition of the flocks. All went well till one of the king's servants grew jealous of Peasant Truth and plotted to do him harm. "Does your majesty think that he who is called Peasant Truth would never tell a lie?" the servant asked the king. "I would risk my kingdom on his honesty," said the king. "Then I will wager my place at court that he will lie to your majesty next Saturday," said the servant. "And if he lies to me next Saturday, I will raise your rank at court," said the king. The jealous servant went home to talk things over with his wife. "Leave it to me," said the wife. "It will be easy enough to make that peasant lie." So the next day she dressed herself like a queen in robes of silk. In her hair she placed a great diamond star. Then she went out to the hills. She found Peasant Truth sitting under a tree. "You are the shepherd of this flock?" she asked. Peasant Truth jumped to his feet and bowed low before her. "What may your highness want of me?" he said. "I wish a little lamb," said the lady. "Pray give me this yearling by your side." "Alas," answered the shepherd, "that I cannot do. The little lamb belongs to the king." "My longing for it is great," said the lady. "I have set my heart on it. I want it more than anything else in the world. But I cannot give you what belongs to the king," said the shepherd. At this the lady began to weep, and the shepherd felt so sorry for her that he said, "Take the little lamb." Then the lady took the little lamb, And that night at the court, the servant and his wife made merry over a roast of royal lamb. On the hills, the shepherd was very sad. What shall I say to the king on Saturday, he thought. I will tell his majesty that the lamb is well. No, that will not do. I will say that a wolf came and carried it away. No, I cannot say that either. Oh, how can I look the king in the face and tell a lie? On Saturday the king sent for Peasant Truth. How is my goat? Asked the king. The goat is very well, your majesty, answered Peasant Truth. And how is my sheep? Good sire, the sheep is well, it frisks and eats. And how is my little lamb? Oh, sire, said Peasant Truth, a fair lady with a blazing star in her hair begged me for the little lamb, and forgetting my plain duty to my king, I gave it to her. I have, O sire, done a terrible wrong. Peasant Truth expected to see an angry king, but the king only smiled. My wages won, he said. I forgive my truthful peasant. Then turning to the jealous servant and king, the king said sternly, you have lost your place at court. Only those who delight in the honor of others can have a place in my court. So, even though that was hard, Peasant Truth did tell the truth to the king. And we can't always, we do make mistakes when we don't mean to. And so that happens, but we're still supposed to tell the truth. And he was deceived by the lady, wasn't he? And it's sad because it didn't have a good ending for the sheep that she was crying after. But it could have been worse. But the king forgave him for not doing the right thing. Because he told the truth, he forgave him, didn't he? Well, that is all we have time for today. The next story we have in this book is going to take a little while, so we're going to wait and read that next time. So, thank you for tuning in to Storytime with Nanny, and I hope you have a great, blessed day.